Leroy Smith, welcome back to Press TV. Now, last time we spoke to you, you was fresh out of Her Majesty's prison. You just released your book. Tell us what you've been up to.
Wow, it's been amazing, to be honest. It's so unbelievable that a book can open so much doors. And basically, it just started to open doors and give me opportunities to have interviews with institutions what are powerful, what are recognized, like Guardian, and put me in a different mindset where I said I can talk to children and do something more positive. So I went and got a DBS check and everything, and then I started going to schools and doing talks, and it really touched me to feel that I can make that difference to a young person. And the way they're asking me the questions, I know that they're relating to what I'm saying. So they're asking appropriate questions that's making sense, that I know I'm being there is making a difference, because they're used to having people who are always academics or whatever, and not from the raw streets.
Yeah.
So they relate to that, and they know I ain't got nothing to lie to them about. I've got no reason to lie. So that's what I started doing, and then that led on to universities and more different things like that. And then what happened after that, someone suggested to me, why don't you do some charity work with a charity? So I did some charity work with a charity for 6 months, and was even working inside a prison. And this was so surreal, because here I was, after spending all that time working in a prison, and when we was doing the first induction thing, they're saying, yeah, you could do this and you could do that. So I said, oh, so can't you write positive things if something positive is happening? Then this is, yeah, you can do that. Like, it's an alien question. So I knew when I was gonna be in this environment, I'd have to be extra mindful, because I've not got no intentions of being an oppressor to anybody, and I'm only being there to enhance people if I can, and that's it, full stop, or it's not for me. And when I took on the role, I explained that to the people in the first place, and they knew that I had my own objectives, which is the young people and out of the box. So I started doing Black history inside prisons and certain things because of that little platform, and made the most of it. Lasted 6 months, and it was a good experience, because at the end of the day, them other people, what's coming out soon, they can realize that they can take a different path as well. You don't have to just rush it out and rush back in, and then you're just stuck, and time waits for nobody, do you understand? So you're not gonna get chance after chance after chance. So that impact of being there, and they seeing you feel like it's that man what was there, and now they believe it, you understand? So on that level, it's positive.
So you worked in schools, you've been working in prisons as well. There's a theory out there that there's a school to prison pipeline, that the way that young people are treated in school, especially young Black youth, is a contributing factor to them eventually ending up in prison. Now, somebody that's been in prison, somebody that's been through this British education system, do you think there's some sort of correlation?
Unfortunately, there is. What it is this. I'm not saying it's all deliberate, but a teacher might have 30 children, and the underprivileged ones who's got the most problems at home and this and that might be more boisterous, or they might have a few issues. They might have HJs, whatever, and certain hyper things where it's not even their fault, you understand? Because mental health or whatever, it could be any kind of thing, and they will just put them in a naughty box and just X them out as bad. So from you start label someone on bad all the time, and everything was coming to that person's negative, the person's gonna take on a negative role, because everything around them is negative, and they realize that the only time they get anything is when they're aggressive. So it's just gonna spiral, and once someone gets on that way of thinking, it don't stop, it just gets more and more and more, and that's a shame, because even in my book I said about how I felt when I was young, and my best friend was white, and when I saw the Queen driving down in a Rolls Royce, and then after I saw Roots, and I realised, wow, this is what's really going on. It was like a big shock. So I know, you understand? If a little child is getting dealt with or getting less chances than people who are well-to-do, he's going to have no chance whatsoever, when really he should be getting more chances than someone was well-to-do, or more effort put on him, because otherwise he's just going to be a drain on himself, his family and society for no reason, when he could have been an asset.
See, people who are watching would be interested in what your school was like. Somebody that went to prison for so many years for shooting 2 police officers. Do you think that that journey into the criminal underworld started at school for you?
I think, because unfortunately my mum got murdered when I was 2, and a few other things which were tragic, I was just in an environment what could lead me to be negative, and the school, them days, was different from now. So after they slap you around a couple of times and conk you on your head, yeah, then they're finished with you. Do you understand? So by 13, I wasn't going to school no more, and that was my reality. So nowadays, they might act like it's been tightened up and this and that, where it suits them, yeah. But in general, there's swathes of society in hotspots. What it's like, they're just left there to fester and to be the target and the victim of everything, and it's not nice.
So you see the news at the moment, it's always talking about the rise in knife crime, the rise in violent crime, particularly here in London. As somebody that's been there, done it, been through the criminal system, been organising in the criminal underworld in the past, what do you think's behind the recent rise in knife crime and violent crime on the streets of London?
Basically, it's people in underprivileged situations what ain't got no good role models, or people what's forceful and strong above them, just left to their own actions to do anything they see fit, and there's no guidelines or no nothing. It's a free-for-all. So when it gets like that, people will start doing all heap of negative stuff, and what hurts me the most, yeah, is how they're doing it to each other, because it doesn't even make no sense. When I was being in the criminal justice system, even though it was wrong and illegal and bad, and I'm sorry, it was for money. So there was a reason why. Do you understand? Now, people are just stabbing each other and doing all these atrocities to each other, their own race, doing it to their own self. That part hurts me the most, yeah? And then the whole thing in general just brings down that community and that area, and then everybody else what don't want no part of it, just try and runs away if they can afford it, and then it's just left for the strongest to survive. That's basically it, and you can't build just nothing positive on that beginning. And it's reached to a stage now where, like, they don't care, because I always watch the news, and I know that some of the stuff what I see, what is going on, multiple stabbings and multiple things, it's not getting featured on mainstream TV. They're talking about stuff what's, like, to me, trivial compared to that, because it's like tittle-tattle stuff what they feel is important in their little circle. But in the real world, everyday people are not thinking that is a fraction as important as if their kid goes to schools, you're gonna come back alive. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the truth.
One of the big differences between when you was active and I'd say today is obviously social media. Now, since you've come out of prison, you've seen how prevalent social media is. Do you think that has anything to do with the level of violence on the streets?
It has still, because even me, when I first came and I'd done a big interview, yeah, and it was street orientated, all of the people who was negative towards me or just had a reason to hate me or be negative they trawled me out to death, and I weren't used to them things. I thought like, what's wrong with these people? Because where I know it, people come to people and say things to their face. You understand? I don't know about this virtual reality. In prison, we call this window warrior, yeah? Because they only talk when they're at the window. That's what they do in prison. They're in the block and they're at the window and they've got the most to say. But you ain't gonna see them on the landing.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant. You understand? That's the same thing. So then I got to understand there's a thing what you can just lock off the whole thing so you don't care about no one's comments, and then that is it. Yeah, because they will give you a rest. So basically, if you're a little 14-year-old, you're gonna take certain things to heart, innit? And you are gonna feel like you can do certain things if you feel like you can do it. And then you got certain big sports companies, I won't even say their name if it will spoil the interview, putting balaclavas out for sale with black models, little black kid in the balaclava. What are you saying to people? What are you doing? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Are you taking this thing for a joke? Yeah, you're disrespecting people. Do you understand? For money, that's what you're doing, and it's hurtful. So these are the kind of things which all percolate together to make a bad scenario, and then you'll get police doing interviews and saying, oh, if a suspect ain't got a crash helmet, we can't chase him. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You would do that if you want it to continue. You understand? Because if you are really trying to fix things, why are you going to tell the whole world that then, so they know that's what they need to do?
When I spoke to you last time, you mentioned about one of the things that attracted you to crime is that you liked nice things, wearing nice stuff. With the prevalence of social media, do you think there's been an enhancement of that? People trying to show off for their friends?
Yeah, but basically most of it is a myth, and I know this for a fact because I know people what all they do, this belongs to this person, that belongs to that person, and if this girl leaves them and everything crashes, and if that person don't talk to them no more, their hands there, it's one bag of nonsense. Do you understand? And it's all for self-ego. This road thing, whatever you want to say about this, that, and you could say, oh, he's washed, this, that, is old, or anything you want. I know for a fact it was very unlikely that any up-to-date gangman has put in hours or seen or done to the levels what man has done, yeah? And I'm telling you, for your good, not mine. So I ain't got nothing to lose or nothing to gain. I'm just saying it as it is, yeah? It's like you need to check history, check yourself, and start getting smart. At least know the law, at least know the rules, know the basics before you start jumping up and down, yeah? And going on like you're slick, because it's not gonna end in no nice way. Yeah. That's my message.
One of the solutions people are saying is to bring back stop and search. They're saying that because they stopped stop and search, or they peeled it back, that since then knife crime's gone up. As somebody that speaks to these young people, do you think that will?
I don't think so, because first of all, if the police ain't stopping the people with decency and manners, and that's never gonna happen, they ain't gonna like it. And it's just basically, I won't say rude words, but it's like you just blowing in the wind, because you're just guessing. Like, you could see 50 black people, and just because he's a male, I'm gonna search him. The guy could be a banker, could be anybody, you understand? Yeah? Just because he's black, it doesn't mean that he must be dealing with badness, or he could be going to school with big intentions for the future with no criminal record.
You've mentioned quite a lot of race and being black. When you went to prison, you would have saw many black faces. Now, the black population in the UK make up 3%, but they make up 12% of the prison, which is even higher.
I'm glad that you...
Even higher proportion than it is in the United States or anywhere else in the Western world.
I'm glad that you touched on that.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think black people are ending up in prison?
When I was working for the 6 months, I went to Aylesbury, and I'm telling you, it was heartbreaking. Some little guys, little brothers, tiny little guys, yeah, are in man prison doing equivalent of man sentence, life, but children's version, Her Majesty's Pleasure, but it's the same thing. and they're in a twilight zone. They don't know what time of day it is or what's going on, yeah? And it's surreal. And it's spot the white man now, yeah, in them places, and that's the truth. It's just bare people of colour in there, yeah? And that ain't by accident. And that's what's gonna keep on happening and get more and more and more.
So why
And
is it?
because the education system's failing them, and then society on the whole's failing them, and then they're failing their own selves by mutilating each other. Do you understand? Instead of you unite and get some kind of rhythm going and understand who is your enemy, who is this, who is that, who you are, then you can know you're moving forward. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's a combination of things.
And my final question is about the solution. So if Mayor Sadiq Khan was to hire you as his advisor to bring down crime rates, to address this knife crime epidemic, what advice would you give him? What would you say? What's the policy?
What I would do is I would stop all this hairs and graces, too much, over the top, start being more genuine to what's really going on, and pump some money into those communities, but not to them big juggernaut charities and institutions what already everybody knows and they've got money already, but to all the little people what people don't really know about, but who are trying, and let them all get together. And there are people in every community, elders and man who's relevant to their communities, who their voice hold little weight. So it's better you reach out to them because they got direct link to the people what's doing this nonsense, who they would listen to them because they know them, yeah? And then that way you could build a system, what within two years you see everything calm down because the right people are telling the right people how to conduct themselves and trying to push things in the right direction. So people just focus on survival and how to make money. That's it.
So is that what you're trying to achieve with this book? Is this what you're trying to achieve?
I would love it to end in that scenario where when I'm gone, positive things are happening because of the book and because of the U-turn what I made. And the amount of things what have happened up till now, I feel like it's not for nothing and it's for a reason.